So when you buy an NFT, what do you actually own? Is it the art? Is it some kind of license? Or is it just a link pointing to a server somewhere? It's been pretty chaotic, right? Well, the US government has finally officially weighed in with a huge report, and we're going to break down exactly what it says. So, where are we getting all this from? It's this, a massive 70-plus page report sent straight to Congress. And get this, it was written by the two top dogs when it comes to intellectual property in the United States, the Patent and Trademark Office and the Copyright Office. They talked to everybody, artists, big brands, tech companies, you name it, to get the whole story. And right out of the gate, they dropped a bombshell. After all that research, you know what their main conclusion was? Our current IP laws are basically fine. Yep. Despite all the drama about scams and theft, the government is saying we don't need to rewrite the rulebook for NFTs. The big question is, why? To get why they think that, we have to start where they did, with a clear official definition of what an NFT even is. Because let's be real, if you ask 10 different people what an NFT is, you'll probably get 10 different answers. So let's see what the government's definition actually is. The report really boils it down to three key things. First, it's a unique cryptographic token. That just means it's a one-of-a-kind, secure digital item. Second, its ownership is recorded on a blockchain, that public digital ledger we've all heard about. And third, and this part is really important, it provides rights or access to something else. That could be a piece of art, a ticket to a show, or even a physical pair of shoes. So how does an NFT go from just an idea to something that's sitting in your digital wallet? Well, the report lays out the typical journey. It all starts when an artist connects their wallet to a marketplace, uploads their file, and mints it. That just means they're officially putting it on the blockchain. After that, every time it gets sold, that unique token just gets transferred to the new buyer's wallet. Simple as that. And this right here is a point that trips up a ton of people. The report makes it crystal clear. The blockchain is fantastic at showing who possesses a token, but possession isn't the same thing as legal ownership. Think of it this way. If somebody steals your car, they have the keys, they possess it. But you still legally own the car, right? It's the exact same idea here. The blockchain might show a token in a hacker's wallet, but the law can still step in and say, nope, that's not the real owner. Okay, so this brings us to the biggest question of all, the one everybody has, copyright. When you buy an NFT of some amazing piece of digital art, what rights are you actually getting? Do you own the art now, or is it something else? And the report gives us the perfect analogy for this. Buying an NFT is basically like buying a vinyl record. You own that physical plastic disc, right? It's your tangible property, but you don't own the copyright to the song itself. You can't just go and sell that song for a car commercial. It's the same logic here. You own the token, but you don't own the copyright to the art it points to. So if the law just sees an NFT as another way to package content, that means our old school legal tools still work. If someone steals your art and mints it as an NFT, you can use the same law that's been around for decades, the DMCA, to send a takedown notice to the marketplace. It's the same process you'd use if someone illegally uploaded your video to YouTube. The tech is new, but the problem isn't. But wait, I know what you're thinking. What about the whole sales pitch of the blockchain, that it's immutable, that it can never be changed? That's where it gets a little tricky. If a stolen piece of art isn't just linked from an NFT, but is actually baked into the blockchain itself, can you still take it down? And the report is honest about this. It's a real challenge. If the art is on-chain, you can't just hit a delete button. But, and this is a really big but, they also point out that in reality, almost nobody does this. Storing a whole high-res image file directly on the blockchain is super expensive and technically complicated, so it's actually pretty rare. Most NFTs just have a simple link. Now, it's not just individual artists running into these problems. The report also dives deep into the other giant of IP, trademarks. This is where big brands are starting to get into major fights over their digital stuff, from virtual Nikes to digital designer bags in the Metaverse. And this isn't some theoretical what-if problem for the future. It's happening right now. The report shows how major court cases are already underway, forcing judges to decide if selling a virtual handbag is the same as selling a real one. It's this clash between brands protecting their identity and digital artists pushing the boundaries. The report highlights one case in particular that shows us where things are probably headed. The luxury brand Hermes sued an artist who is making and selling NFTs called Meta Birkins. The artist argued it was just art, but the jury didn't buy it. They said it was trademark infringement.
This is a huge sign that courts are perfectly willing to use old-school trademark law to protect brands in the virtual world.
Okay, so if the report says our copyright and trademark laws are holding up pretty well, then why is the NFT market so messy and confusing? According to the government, the problem isn't with the legal code, it's with the human code.
The report really zeroes in on a few core issues. First, there's just massive confusion among people about what they're actually buying. Second, those smart contracts that run the sales are often written so badly or are so vague that they're basically useless in court. And finally, there's just a huge lack of transparency and education for buyers. The problem isn't the law itself, it's the giant gap between what the tech promises and what people actually understand. And all of this leaves us with one big, final question. The government's position is that the laws work, and what we really need is just better education and more transparency for buyers. But in a multi-billion-dollar industry that moves at the speed of light, is just telling people to be careful and do your homework really going to be enough to protect them? That's the challenge we're still facing.